Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast, where we provide you with your weekly diagnosis of everything fantasy football. Whether it's season-long leagues, dynasty, DFS, or sometimes even IDP, we got you covered all year long.
Let's do it. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast, episode 242. And I am your host, John June. And of course, without a doubt, got my guy, my co-host, Greg Penniman. Greg, how we feeling today, brother?
Feeling good. I mean, it was a very fun week 17. A lot of high scores. Like to see that for sure. A lot of very interesting games that happened on and off the field. It was a very, very good week.
Definitely an interesting week for sure. A lot of high-scoring matchups and high-scoring games. This is championship week as we know it. Obviously, for those of you that play in a Week 18 championship or maybe that 2-week championship, we will still be here. We still got you covered. Don't worry about that. But let's recap Week 17 because what an eventful week it was. And let's start with the quarterback position. And if you had this man going into the fantasy playoffs, he pretty much carried you.
Except the first round. Just
except
Denver.
For round one.
I would have definitely won my league if I in Dynasty. I had Joe Burrow.
Sorry,
man. Oh,
we have a bitter Joe Burrow manager here. But Joey B, man. I mean, I was calling him Joey covers, but Joey wins, man. That's what he does. King of the AFC North, Tiger King, Joe Burrow, 30 of 39. 446 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 5 rush attempts for 10 rushing yards, 34.8 points. Greg, your thoughts on the performance by Joey B?
Hey, man, another historic week for Joey B. First quarterback ever to go back-to-back weeks with 404 touchdowns and no picks. I mean, this man is absolutely amazing. He's, again, we said it last week, one of the top young quarterbacks in this league, if you start beating people like Mahomes, the Bradys, if you start beating those guys, that means you could possibly do in the playoffs, and then that's how you start getting into that top 5 conversation every week that, those guys want you. And since it looked like Cincinnati made the right decision, it was the easy decision to make at the time, and it's paying off.
I'm assuming you're talking about the decision
to draft Joey Burrow.
Joe Burrow. I didn't know if you're talking about the decision to draft another guy we're talking about later, Jamar Chase. I don't know which decision we're talking about. So I make sure we got
that one. That one was because everyone wanted O-line in that case, but it looks like Joe Burrow doesn't need one, man.
Nah, man. Joey B, definitely one of the top young quarterbacks in the league. I remember when he was coming out, just watching him and just being like, yo. This guy he's pro ready like right now. One of the reasons why, you and I were so high on him last year. Wasn't as high on him. I guess this year I wasn't high on Joe Burrow at all. I don't have any Joe Burrow, outside of dynasty leagues or anything like that. But, in regards to this year, it's funny because the Bengals, we came into the season thinking that they were going to be this high throwing team, a team that throws the ball a ton, and they weren't really that to start the year. They were actually a run heavy team, but over recent weeks, I don't know if it's been matchup based or game script based, but they've morphed into this, passing offense where Joe Burrow, you get to see him throw the ball, 30, 40 times a game, where as opposed to the start of the year, we were seeing him throw the ball 20 times. And so Joey B, definitely going to be a guy that I think we target high next year, at the quarterback position.
Oh, yeah, especially we talked about that skill group. Cincinnati skill group is easily top 5, top 3 maybe. And, yeah, that's going to continue. They're all under 25. It's going to keep going.
Yeah, I think Tyler Boyd is probably 26. But
okay.
Either way, this is a really good skill group. The CJ Uzama is still there at tight end. They could probably even use another player there, potentially in the passing game. But
yeah, Drew Sample was supposed to be that, but yeah.
Drew Sample, that guy. Joe Mixon, obviously still there. Maybe they'll try to get a running back that could probably contribute in the pass games. Anchor all the Joe Mixon managers probably with that statement right there. But
I like this actually.
Yeah, Chris Evans. No, he was been solid when he was injured, so it's definitely helpful. Moving on to QB2 on the week. I don't know how many people played this guy, but Russell Wilson.
Of course, man. Of course, this is an of course moment. Like,
yeah, no, definitely. 20 of 29, 236 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 of which went to one player we will talk about a little bit later, who falls into the of course category, but 27.8 fantasy points there. Your thoughts on the performance by Russell Wilson and what, by his accounts is hopefully not his last game in Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, a great performance. I mean, he did what he had to do. I mean, Detroit, excellent matchup. He was playing Detroit. He hasn't been as bad as DK, so it's not as surprising as what he did. I'm not as surprised, but I do 4 touchdowns. This is a classic on 29 pass attempts. This is a like vintage Russell Wilson performance right here. Very efficient, doing what he got to do. This was what happens if he hits his upside. We know what it is, but more likely than not, on 29 pass attempts, 4 touchdowns is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's Russell Wilson. The guy is an absolute beast when it comes to throwing touchdowns. I mean, had almost a 14% touchdown rate in this game. Makes up for some of the lack of touchdowns over recent weeks.
Yeah.
Moving on to QB3. For a while, it looked like that classic Brady game in January. Brady January is good.
That's what. But this playoffs, he really both the first and second round. If you got through with him, you were really lucky.
Yeah, if you made it through with
that Saints game and then last week, oh man,
Tom Brady the last 2 weeks playing the way he did, then maybe you were fortunate enough to have this opportunity here to play him against the New York Jets. 34 of 50, 410 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Good for 26.4 points on the day. Greg, your thoughts on the performance by Tom Brady?
Yeah, I mean, definitely was a candidate for start of the week, but like you didn't think that he would, go off in this. Well, the way he was playing, it was just maybe the running game would just take over, but he had to take over because Ronald Jones got hurt early. I mean, he was working with Keyshawn Vaughn, he was working with really no one, and this is a classic Tom Brady, leading it down last drive, getting it done. 410, got it to his guys, Gronk, Bashard Perryman. It didn't matter who was on the field. He found a way.
Yeah, here I was thinking the Jets, my New York Jets were gonna sneak one out on Tom Brady here, and it looked good for
absolutely
for about, I don't know, what was
about
it,
3 quarters.
Three quarters of time.
Yeah.
I would, like 59 minutes and some change. It looked pretty good. It did up until the failed 4th down conversion. But Tom Brady again, the game script here. You did not go into this game thinking the Bucs being 13.5 point favorites that Tom Brady would throw the ball 50 times. Like that was not the thought here. So Tom Brady really, I think the line on like over under passing yards for Tom Brady going into this game was like 275.5, and here he was at 410. So this was absolutely crazy on a day where his top target and Antonio Brown pretty much decides to quit football during a football game, which people act like this has never been done before. But I was talking to my brother yesterday, and me and him on the same wavelength. The first person I thought of when this happened was Vontae Davis, the brother of Vernon Davis, who actually quit at halftime during a game for the Buffalo Bills. So Antonio Brown did it, and
I do remember that.
in much more theatrical fashion, the way Antonio Brown could, because the security thought that he was a fan streaking on the field. So interesting storyline there for Antonio. And then I learned, funny thing, that there's a driver in the New York, Jersey area, Danny Boy Hard.
He's a NFL driver, man. He got a lot of clients.
I had no idea. He's the personal driver for like Saquon Barkley and like Odell and Jamal Adams and all these other guys that played for the Jets and the Giants. No idea. Learn something new every day.
Everyone's got a guy.
Right? And apparently all the NFL players have this guy. But rounding out the top 12 quarterbacks here, QB4 in the week, Dak Prescott. The QB5, Kyler Murray. QB6, Mac Jones. 7, Josh Allen. 8, Patrick Mahomes. 9, Aaron Rodgers. 10, Trey Lance. 11, Justin Herbert. And 12, Taysom Hill. You better believe that. Greg, any of these top 12 performances stuck out to you here?
Trey Area and Taysom Hill kind of fall into that mold of the QB1, so that's a really good week from them. Like to see Kyler Murray back in here. Mac Jones, always nice to see him finish as a QB1.
Yeah, Mac Jones. I think the weather had cleared up by the time we got to this game. I know I was a little hesitant to really be on the New England offense head into this game. But once that weather concerns clear up, New England's 14-point favorites coming off 2 consecutive losses. We talked about this going into.
Yeah. It was about to be bad.
A classic, like run up the scoreboard type game for the New England Patriots here, getting a rookie quarterback and Trevor Lawrence to come in here. But like you said, the QB5, Kyler Murray, playing in the same game as QB4 and Dak Prescott. Trey Lance, we'll see what happens with Jimmy G's injury. They say that it's, from what I was hearing on the broadcast Sunday morning, Ian Rappaport and company was saying that this is an injury that most definitely will need surgery on. So we don't know how long he will be out for or when he will elect to get that surgery. So we could have Trey Lance here potentially for at least week 18, and if the Niners go on to make the playoffs, potentially even longer than that. So it would definitely be interesting for just football in general if Trey Lance ends up starting for the rest of the year.
Yes, sir. And then, them keeper leagues, I'm here. I'm ready. Trey Lance, man. It's going to be taking over.
He was not going to let go of Trey Lance in that keeper league.
Nah. He's the future, man.
Sunday morning, I picked up Justin Fields.
Smart, yo. That's smart.
So right after that, Trevor Lawrence was picked up. But it's cool. I got Holding Fields, Mac Jones, and Zach Wilson all on that team.
One of them's got to hit.
The worst part is I probably won't keep any of them.
I like Mac Jones. I think he'll be out next year.
He will be fine. But I mean, we could obviously talk about this draft at another time and my strategies here. But I just feel like I got players at other positions and quarterback. I was able to get late in this league. Just so everybody knows, it's an 8-person league, 2 quarterbacks, so 16 starting quarterbacks in the league. But there's still 16 out there. So
this is true.
This is true. But it's a keeper league, so that always makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Moving on to the let's talk about the Jags. We almost missed the Jags. 1.5 starts of the week here in Jalen Hurts and Matthew Stafford, both hitting this Jags list. Tyler Huntley as well, if you had to start him because you don't have Lamar Jackson. Greg, any other
Tua?
Yeah.
That was bad. That was pretty bad.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. That was bad, though.
Yeah, that was it. So let's move on to the running back position. And the number 1 running back on the week, oh my goodness, the stat line, 25 carries, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 carries, or 2 receptions on 3 targets for 15 yards. That is Rashad Penny, 32.5 PPR points. Greg, you and I had said you had said that this performance, Rashad Penny had been performing basically better than any other running back that Seattle had been putting through there, and he'd basically been what they had needed all year. Continuing to prove your point here with 170 rushing yards in this one.
Crazy, man. He did a really good job. 25 carries, getting great volume. Got 2 receptions as well. I mean, they're going to continue to run the ball as they have Pete Carroll. He's going to get this volume, and I can continue to see the same the next week as well. If you're in a league where you got to rank him as an RB1 next week for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely got to be. I mean, 28 opportunities here. He's going to continue to see that work. Interesting to see what happens with Rashad Penny because he's a free agent after this year.
True. That's true.
does Seattle pay the big bucks, or do they let him? Does he chase the big bucks and go sign with another team? Curious to see how this works out. But moving on to the RB2 on the week, a guy who just continues to get all the opportunities that Clyde Edwards-Helaire will never get. 14, Daryl Williams, of course, I'm talking about 14 carries, 88 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 targets, 3 receptions, 19 receiving yards, 25.7 PPR points on the day for Daryl Williams. Greg, your thoughts?
Yeah, if you put his game splits, like his start points per game, like he's got to be RB1. Like he puts up great numbers, he puts up great volume. It's awesome to when he gets that start. I'm ready to lock and load him and play him. Hopefully, we just kind of get a clear situation. If Clyde can't go next week, he's again an RB1.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know why. It's just like, why?
Yeah, I know. Why'd you draft him in the first round? Like, you could have drafted anyone else. If you had Darrell, they had Darrell Williams on the roster this whole time. Like,
oh man, it's crazy to me. It's just crazy. But yeah, I just can't comprehend it. Daryl Williams has been balling. He's pretty much like he's in that category of if you draft Clyde, draft Daryl Williams, right? Like the same way we treat Alexander Madison as like this super valuable draft asset. Like Daryl Williams should be treated the same. You shouldn't leave a draft and Daryl Williams is still there on waivers.
Yeah, we said a lot. We said a lot of things, and one of them was like, yeah, Daryl Williams keeps getting the opportunity Clyde doesn't get. He's gonna be an RB1. Like, so this is where he is.
One of the other things we called was Boston Scott Week. Just rename it. Week 17, just officially Boston Scott Week. The RB3 on the week, 14 rush attempts, 47 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Only the way Boston Scott knows how to do it. 4 targets, 4 receptions, 39 yards, 24.6 PPR points on the day. Greg, your thoughts, please.
No surprise, man. This is what he does. It's every year. Week 17, he's left on the depth chart. Philly is a team that always gets hurt, and he seems to make it through and performs when it matters. And it's another game where they needed to get in the playoffs, and he got it done for them. Next week, I would continue to, as long as Miles Sanders is out and Jordan Howard's banged up as well, I continue to play Boston Scott as a high upside RB2.
Yeah, he was again fabulous this week. 2 touchdowns. Once he gets 2 touchdowns, your day is pretty much made at that point. And you don't really care what he does, but was productive with the touches and opportunities. Hopefully he gets an opportunity to play next week. He did end up on the COVID list not too long ago before we started recording. So with the new protocols and whatnot, depending on his situation, he could feasibly play because today's Monday. He could still get ready to be activated prior to Sunday's game. So keep an eye on that. But let's talk about round out the running back position, obviously, and another guy who's been a fantasy godsend for you over these last few weeks, Devin Singletary. Again, just been an absolute beast for you. Ramondre Stevenson coming in at 5.
Another thing we called.
Don't say we didn't say it. Don't say. I mean, specifically Greg said it. AJ Dillon.
4 degrees, man. That's AJ Dillon all over it, man. No one wants to tackle someone that big in the cold.
Nope. No. Elijah Mitchell tying with Alvin Kamara for the running back 7. Jarrett Patterson coming in at 9. Austin Eckler coming in at 10. David Montgomery 11. And Deontay Foreman coming in as the RB12. Greg, your thoughts on this top 12 here?
Bro, I mean, top 12, top 24. I mean, if you scored 18 points, like JT was like outside the RB1, he scored 18 fantasy points. Like that's crazy. It's a great week. Probably the best week for running backs all season I've seen score wise over this average. So yeah, this a lot of people shout out like Eckler, Montgomery, Sony Michel filling in well. Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson both finishing in the top 24. So definitely a good day from both of them.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great point. Something I was definitely going to say was that the running backs this week, you could not be disappointed if you put any of these running backs. You had a starting running back. You pretty much, unless you had Rashad Penny, you really didn't have a significant advantage over the rest of the field.
Right.
One thing I was definitely wrong about was Elijah Mitchell. I thought that we would see a more conservative offense, one that led to Elijah Mitchell, seeing less opportunities because of the presence of Trey Lance, but and Jeff Wilson had been playing well, but I guess he was healthy, he was good to go. Saw 21 carries, so definitely a miss on my part there. But the honorable mentions, like you said, it was a good week for running backs. JT finished right on the cusp. Sony Michel, my start of the week, finished as the RB13. Josh Jacobs, Damian Harris, also, like you said, had a nice week even before. Had 2 touchdowns before in the first half or the first quarter, I think, prior to leaving the game with a hamstring injury. So we could get Ramondre Stevenson, another week of him all to himself. But this week wasn't without disappointment. Chase Edmonds was another guy. I mean, if I tell you James Conner's not going to be active,
facts.
You would imagine Chase Edmonds.
He got like 23 opportunity shares too.
Yeah. I mean, 23 opportunities. Could only muster up 13 fantasy points. Didn't get in the end zone, so that's going to kill your day there too, when you're not catching a ton of passes. Saquon Barkley. I mean, he had. If you're playing standard, it was a good day.
Yeah.
But,
for if you saw that like this game in the box score, that's a great day for what he came out of that. The team scored 3 points, so that's pretty impressive.
Another guy, Cordero Patterson, where it was just, I mean, talk about pixie dust and running out. Everything, dude. Like this, my man really, like, he started out the year like there was no player that there were like a lot of players, but it was like not many players until you got to Cordero Patterson's name about like who you would want in fantasy football.
Yeah, Zeke and Dalvin Cook too. Those are 2 huge names that.
Yeah, I mean Dalvin Cook was like a poor situation, man. Like, obviously that whole offense just suffered.
Yeah.
We all talk bad about Kirk Cousins, but yesterday we all missed him. I bet.
Hey man, Green Bay still would have got it done.
No, of course. I'm not talking about the game. I'm just talking about
the performance. Yeah, true. Yeah.
Let's move on to the wide receiver position. One LSU receiver who did not suffer as a result of his quarterback. His quarterback was the QB1 here, so it's only rightfully so that he would end up as the wide receiver 1. It doesn't always work like that, but Jamar Chase, 12 targets, 11 receptions, a rookie record 266 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns, 55.6 PPR points. If you played Jamar Chase if you played against Jamar Chase in fantasy, I'm sorry for you. I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry you had to watch that. You had to go through that. Almost like the Alvin Kamara 6 touchdown game last year. This was probably worse. Yeah.
In a bonus league, sure, yeah. Oof.
Oh man, this was. I mean, because Alvin Kamara didn't get 11 catches, like that's 11 points right there, and then 26.6 off the yards. Like,
yep.
Yeah, this was not a great day, but a great performance by the rookie who now leads. Has broken Justin Jefferson's record for most receiving yards by a rookie in a season, which is just unfathomable to think of. Just a year ago when we were watching Justin Jefferson do it, it just felt ridiculous at the time. And now
he did it in his 16 games too, which is nice.
Yeah.
So, yep.
So there's no like,
he had an extra game. Yeah.
No, there's none of that. Man beat Justin Jefferson by 29 yards.
There you go.
So, Greg, your thoughts on the performance here by Jamar Chase, man?
absolute beast. I mean, we talk about why Joe Burrow's gonna be great. It's because of this again. Also because of the skill group. Jamar Chase is just absolutely killed the secondary that was playing pretty well of late too. So this was no like easy matchup. I mean, just a number of I think had to been 12 targets. At least 6 of them had to been go routes. Like they are just every time Joe Burrow, I'll just see him 3-step drop, just fling it up there, and Jamar Chase will be even, and he's leaving every time. Like man, he's just an absolute beast on the outside. Yeah, he's already one of the best receivers in the game. Like he's already like there. So like outside the numbers, he's a beast, man.
Bro, that first touchdown that he scored,
yeah,
where like he catches the ball and he's surrounded by like 4 or 5 Kansas City Chiefs, and you're like, there's no way.
He caught one on the sideline. He like juggled it, one-handed it, stayed in bounds, 2-tap. Yeah.
Like the jabs that he put on to get by the dudes, and then he just hits the open space, and he is faster than everybody. I'm like, this is illegal. This should
you can't double him because T. Higgins is right across the other side. Like, so what are you gonna do? Like, it's crazy.
T. Higgins, you can't, like, Tyler Boyd's in the slot. Like, what are you gonna do? By the way, Joe Burrow could still run. Like, if they're all covered.
Yeah, yep. Oh, he could just dump it to Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to sit back in a cover 2 shell and not let us go deep. All right, we'll just run Joe Mixon 24 times. Bro. Yeah, I should just go put a bet on the Bengals to win it all, man. I don't know if this feels like hyperbole, but like teams get hot. They look like the hottest team in the league right now. They have a run game. They have a pass game. Like their defense is okay. But
I'm gonna stick with my State Farm Bowl prediction. I still got the Packers Chiefs, but this I can see this being maybe a rematch in the playoffs for sure.
It's crazy because I hate what I say. I said Bills.
It was Bills Packers, I think. I think you had Packers as well.
Bills Packers? I think I had Packers. Yeah, man. I just like.
Still got your studio.
Bills. Yeah. I have Chargers Packers.
You had the actually. No, I think you had Chargers in the AFC Championship.
I know I have a Chargers in the AFC Championship game, but I don't. This is why I hate doing preseason stuff. I hate it. I hate doing it because I'm like, how am I supposed to tell you who's going to win the Super Bowl in September? Like, that's not how this works. But anyways, whatever. We're here. Let's talk about the number 2 wide receiver on the day, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Definitely something that we're going to talk about it. But I said back when we started the Fantasy Football Championship, he was my start of the week. I said, look, man, this guy's going to lead you to a chip. And in championship week, he saved his best performance for last. 11 targets, 8 receptions, 111 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. Also got you going on 23 rush attempts and a 26-yard rushing touchdown. 35.4 PPR points on the day. Greg, your thoughts on the performance here by Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Yeah, he's definitely the wide receiver league winner, random person we needed. There's always one per year, and he was the one, came through for you every week down the stretch. Like any start questions anyone was asking me, like, you're Amon-Ra, like you just set it and forget it. He became a set it and forget it player. Like, so hopefully you didn't leave this guy on your bench. They lost in a blowout, and he still got it done. And hopefully, he can have some like value going down the line for next year as well.
Yeah, I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown was definitely one of my favorite receivers. If you listened to this show in the offseason, you know that he was one of my, like, there's players, they're not the most talented, they're not the best, they're not the biggest, they're not the fastest, they're not going to get drafted higher than everybody, but there's just something about them that there's something about their play, there's something about their style of play that just draws you to them. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is that for me. It's just, the dude is a dog. I didn't think that we would see it this early from him. But he was stepping up early, getting opportunities with all the injuries that the Lions were having. And then once T.J. Hawkinson and DeAndre Swift both went down, it was 30% target shares, basically for the rest of the year for the kid. And he's been delivering on all of those opportunities. I mean, when you talk about young receivers playing this year, like the Jamar Chases, the Elijah Moores, all of these guys like Devontae Smiths, like Jalen Waddle, like you got to talk about Amon-Ra St. Brown going into next year. Like he has to be in that conversation.
Yep. Like definitely, this is the guy you probably didn't. If you out the playoffs, this is the guy you talk about you paying attention to down the stretch because you wouldn't have noticed him if you just gave up. And then next year he's definitely gonna be probably a sleeper value in the ADP for sure.
Definitely. I mean, he probably won't be super high, but he'll be one of those middle round, late middle round guys, like like round 8, which is somewhere like where we were getting Deontay Johnson a couple years ago.
Yep.
Something, Cooper Kupp, something like that, right? So I like it. I like it a lot. Moving on to the wide receiver 3, talking about saving your best performance for last. Like this is like you could take the last 3 performances by this guy and it still wouldn't equal what he did in this game. DK Metcalf, 9 targets, 6 receptions, 63 receiving yards. And you're like, John, how is this like the wide receiver 3 on a day? Well, he caught 3 of those. Remember those four Russell Wilson touchdowns we talked about? He caught 3 of them, so that'll definitely help. Also added 1 rush attempt for 6 yards, and what was probably the least athletic kick return I think I've ever seen in my life. When he tried to return a missed field goal, it was just like watching DK Metcalf trying to change field with like a bunch of linemen on it was hilarious, bro. So like, Greg, your thoughts and performance here by DK Metcalf?
Yeah, definitely saved his best for last. I mean, if you got to this spot with DK Metcalf, you probably were scared to play him. He probably has a lot of people benches, but if you had the kudos to you if you started him and played him. Yeah, he came through. Hopefully he can show some more consistency next year, for sure. Hopefully he can end the year well, next week as well, and just have a little more consistency as being that number 1 receiver that we were seeing before the bye. Because before the bye, he was weekly wide receiver 1 without a doubt, and something must have happened. I mean, of course, tied to Russell Wilson's success as well, but it seemed like something was up there.
Yeah, I don't know. There was this performance still wasn't great. Like if we're really looking at it on the surface, right? Like what do we always say?
Yeah.
Take the touchdowns away, and what does the game look like, right? Like
you
take Amon-Ra's touchdown away, Jamar Chase's touchdowns away. Like these guys are still gonna be in a competition to be up here. DK Metcalf, you take his touchdowns away, he's not up here. We're not talking about DK Metcalf as a top 12 receiver today. But I'm curious because you've been very, very adamant that Russell Wilson just played his last snap in Seattle. So where does DK Metcalf fall for you if you don't even know who his quarterback is right now? Let's assume that Russell Wilson is not there. Are you taking him regardless of who ends up being the quarterback, or is he one of those guys for you right now?
I still. Depends. As a wide receiver 1, probably not. As a 2 though, I would take him. Yeah, if he was my like high end wide receiver 2, I think he could still provide me top 20 value as a wide receiver. And assuming the Seattle Seahawks trade Russell Wilson, they're probably gonna get something good back. So maybe they'll figure it out with their quarterback situation. I don't know. As far as draft or something.
Yeah. No, it's just an interesting question.
For Dynasty, it is interesting though for DK.
I did say a few weeks back, just adjust your expectations with DK, right? Like, don't look at him as this must-start wide receiver 1 or 2. Like, just downgrade him a little bit. He's a flex, like wide receiver 3 with some upside. So hopefully, if you needed that upside, you tapped it this week, and DK Metcalf was able to help you get to a win. But rounding out this top 12 here, the wide receiver 4, Devontae Adams. The wide receiver 5, another one that we will put into the call list, Braxton Berrios. The wide receiver 6, Cooper Kupp. 7, Jacoby Myers. 8, Hunter Renfrow. 9, random dude out of nowhere, Christian Wilkerson. Wide receiver 10, other random dude out of nowhere, Cyril Grayson. wide receiver 11, Darnell Mooney, and tied with wide receiver 11 with Darnell Mooney, Zay Jones,
Yes, sir.
eight catches, 10 targets, 120 receiving yards for his first 100-yard receiving day of his career. Greg, your thoughts on the top 12 here?
Again, I'm just so impressed about the Raiders this year. The Raiders first staying in playoff contention and having two receivers that are able to get it done through all their turmoil, losing their top receiver, losing their coach. Like it got it done. So I think both these receivers have some value next week for sure. And yeah, Brandon Cooks finding a way to get in. Oh, he was honorable mention, but Braxton Berrios, man, man, I don't know, man. He's been clutch, man. Talk about right after Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's been Berrios, man, for the final stretch. It's crazy, yo.
I literally tweeted out on Sunday after Berrios' second touchdown that Braxton Berrios is leading people to fantasy championships in 2020. Like, I love 2022 already.
Yep, that's crazy, yo.
Braxton Berrios, I had talked about it. I know you gave me a weird look. It felt weird saying it. I was like, hey man, I don't know. If it were me, I would play Braxton Berrios over Cordero Patterson this week. Right? Like it felt right. Like there was something about it. And sure enough, he's been money, man. I mean, no Elijah Moore, no Corey Davis. Halfway through this, or not even halfway through the first quarter, you get no Michael Carter. He walks out of this game with 12 targets, 2 rush attempts, one which was a pass option for him, which he rushed it in for a touchdown. So definitely love the recent performance by him. Darnell Mooney, again, that's another guy. You've been really high on all year, especially Andy Dalton comes in and he continues to get it done there. And then Devontae Adams, man, just continuing to be a dog.
Oh yeah, you already
Funny.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers said it, man. He's the greatest player he's ever played with.
Crazy.
It's
crazy. Honorable mentions here, like you said, Brandon Cooks got it done again for you. Alan Lazard, Antoine Wesley, who's been continuing to get these opportunities here for the Cardinals with DeAndre Hopkins out, scored 2 touchdowns on Sunday. Cedric Wilson, who probably gets to see more opportunities here again with Michael Gallup out for the year with the torn ACL. Deebo Samuel just continuing to do Deebo Samuel things. Marquez Callaway also gets in here as an honorable mention. Anybody else stuck out for you from an honorable mention perspective, Greg?
No, I do like the Marcus Callaway. Definitely down the stretch. He's been clutch in a bad situation. Odell getting that touchdown to save my start of the day week pick. And Laquan Treadwell, another solid week. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Speaking of starts of the week, speaking of Jags, my start of the week, back-to-back week in a row, CeeDee Lamb. That one was just tough to watch, man, because you're like looking at the game, you're looking at the game script, and you're just seeing it. This should be an opportunity here. This should be where CeeDee Lamb gets these opportunities. And you saw when they, had 51 receiving yards on, I think it was 6 targets.
Yep,
you said
4
what?
targets. 4 targets.
4 targets. Catches. 4 targets, 3 catches. It's like that dude should be more involved.
He should be moving the chains for the team. That's how good he is.
It just doesn't make sense. He should throw a fit just like Amari Cooper did, so he can get more opportunities. But it was just unfortunate in championship week, the biggest week of them all. That one kind of stings because obviously Greg, CeeDee Lamb was, and all the listeners know, he was my breakout coming into the year. I expected really, really big things from CeeDee Lamb. I expected a top 10 wide receiver finish from him. And these last few weeks have just been really discouraging if you've had CeeDee Lamb in your fantasy leagues.
Yeah, definitely.
Rest of the Jags, Tyler Lockett, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Smith. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing some guys. Greg, is there anybody else that sticks out from a Jag perspective for you this week?
And Michael Pittman, I'll throw him in there too. He could have probably done better.
Yeah, well, Michael Pittman, I guess I missed him. Like I said, it's always tough to get these Jags, man, because you got to go scroll all the way to the bottom, especially with the wide receivers, because there's like 200 of them.
Yeah, there are. Shout out to Michael Gallup, tearing his ACL on a touchdown catch, though. Crazy.
Bro, if I tore my ACL on a touchdown, I probably would have dropped the ball. Like, I would have, let the ball go. Most probably, like.
They didn't even win, man. Tough.
No, it's crazy. Just reminds me of Santonio Holmes, like, a while back for the Jets. Like,
oh, crazy.
Do you remember that play?
Yeah, you showed me on YouTube once. It was crazy.
Oh, he gets tears his foot, gets, Liz Frank, and,
stays in.
Throws the ball down in pain. And then the San Francisco 49ers defender just comes and I'm going to pick this up and scoops it for a touchdown. Crazy stuff. But anyway, moving on to the tight end position. And I don't know what it was, man. Something just popped in my numbers. I do this every week. Something popped for Noah Fant, man. I was between his target share the last few weeks and how bad the Chargers have been against tight ends in these last few weeks. Noah Fant was going to have a good day, and he did. The tight end won on the week. 6 receptions on 7 targets, 92 receiving yards, 1 touchdown to go for 21.2 PPR points on the week. Greg, your thoughts on the performance here by Noah Fant?
Yeah, definitely one of his best performances of the year. I mean, he had a really good week against Vegas, but this is a great week for him to close out here. Really good yards per reception average too, doing what he has to do against the Chargers. I mean, yeah, you like that he's been kind of on that cusp of the borderline tight end one all year. Definitely would like to see him have some more consistency, but hopefully, get that next year.
Yeah, I thought the best part was he had one of his signature explosive plays in this game, right? He had a 52-yard catch and run.
Yeah.
Which is part of why we love Noah Fant so much, because he's a freak, right? He can do some of those things, when you watch, a Kyle Pitts or a Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce, he can do some of those things in the open field that not many people that are, walking around planet Earth that are 6'4", 250 plus pounds can do. So definitely, if Denver could just figure out the quarterback situation, man, they've got pieces there in place to have, a really high powered offense. Greg is nodding because he's saying Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, sir.
In his head.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to tight end 2 on the day. Called this one. I'm pretty sure we was on this one too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Gronkowski, 7 receptions, 10 targets, 115 receiving yards, 18.5 PPR points. Greg, your thoughts on the performance here by Gronk?
Yeah, I think the Jets had it, and then Tom Brady realized, I'm playing the Jets. This is what I got my man Gronk. He's going to take it back to 05 or something like that. So he had to get it done with his main guy, 10 targets. That's definitely a team high. And then definitely when AB went out, he was the main guy, his go-to. So, I mean, he's going to have to be huge for them down the stretch and in the playoffs. So definitely next week, he's going to be definitely a top 5 tight end for me in my rankings and just in general, for the rest of the season, playoffs.
No, most definitely. I think you were about 10 years off, a decade off with that.
Oh yeah, 2015, my fault.
Taking it back to 05. Yeah, no, it really did feel like I was watching Brady and Gronk play pitch and catch like they used to for the Jet, for the Patriots against the Jets. It didn't feel any different watching that kind of happen. The only difference was there was Mike Evans happened to be there too, so that was weird. But rounding out this, or not rounding out, but the tight end 3 on the week, and this man will not be denied. He will stay in this top 3 discussion until the end of the year, I'm assuming. But Mark Andrews, 6 for 6, 89 receiving yards, no touchdown this week. How dare you, Mark? 14.9 PPR points on the day. Greg, your thoughts?
Yeah, it just shows, he doesn't need a touchdown to get it done. I mean, yeah, this man is amazing. especially in a low-scoring game too. Still got it done as a consistent pass catcher, the most consistent pass catcher for this team. And yeah, he's going to continue to keep getting done next week as well.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Sorry, I'm watching NFL Network, and Brandon Echols, who was picked 200 in this draft for the New York Jets, picked off pick 199 and Tom Brady, and then asked him to sign the ball that he intercepted after.
Yep, he did. Tom
Cool.
Brady definitely did it. Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely signed it.
Good sport.
Brady wouldn't have signed it
if they lost. Yeah. If they lost, yeah. Once they lost, he's like, "Oh, it's my chance. I should do it now." Yeah.
Yo, he definitely would not have signed it if he lost. That is crazy.
I don't think he would have asked if they won though. I don't know.
What? So
if the Jets won, if the Jets
won, you're not gonna ask.
I think that
you lost. If you ask when you lost, I would expect you to ask when you win.
Nah, it's if I won the game, and then Tom Brady feels probably bad about him, like bad. So I'm not gonna like just kind of step on him while he's down.
Forget that. And you don't feel bad, get him off the team. Get him off the team, off the roster. You don't feel bad. You don't feel bad.
Oh, if I lose,
but you feel bad when you win.
4-11, yo. We're 4-11, yo.
I know, I get it, but still. That's crazy. But rounding up this top 12 at the tight end position, man. Tight end 4 in the week. Man, if he didn't get this touchdown, he would not have made it here. But Travis Kelce, 5 receptions, 7 catches, 25 receiving yards, and a touchdown. 13.4 PPR points. I don't know why I went through the stat line. I think it was just because I had to tell y'all. But that stat line was crazy. I've never seen Travis Kelce do something like that. Tight end 5, Greg started the week, Dallas Goedert. The tight end 6, Tyler Higbee. The tight end 7, Anthony Ferkshire. Also tying with the tight end 7, Dalton Schultz. The tight end 9, Zach Ertz. The tight end 10, Jeff Swain. The tight end 11, Tyler Conklin. And the tight end 12, Mike Gesicki. I will throw out an honorable mention just because my man had 64 receiving yards, had 61 on one catch, got hurt, and missed the rest of the game. Finished with a 1,000-yard season, Kyle Pitts. But Greg, your thoughts on the performances by these tight ends?
Yeah, I mean, they came through. Dalton Schultz, Dallas Goedert, my start of the week. The NFC East guys getting done. Tyler Conklin, as far as also being in there, and yeah, I mean that's about it. Mike Gesicki as well. It's a good week.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's not really much to discuss. I mean, Dallas Goedert, that was a good one, obviously. Higbee,
nice. Yeah, in their season strong for sure.
Nice random day by Higbee. Ferkshire, how kind of show up? 17 weeks late, but
Yep, definitely 17 weeks late.
Yeah, and then obviously Mike Gesicki, and like I said, the aforementioned Kyle Pitts, who that dude is going to be a problem for like years to come. Like seriously. Obviously, in terms of Jags, well, not obviously, there are no Jags to discuss.
Nah, if they weren't after the top 12, even like the top 12 barely seems good.
Yeah, right. Like the top 12, not that great. I mean, I guess I'll have to throw out Gerald Everett.
Oh yeah, true.
I started the week, 3 catches for 36 yards, so that wasn't great. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up the positional recap there. In terms of injuries, there's not much. The Michael Gallup news, like we talked about, he's got the torn ACL, so he'll be out for the year. In Philly, they've got like a bit of a COVID breakout. There's 12 guys added to the list: Dallas Goedert, Jordan Howard, Boston Scott. So obviously, you got to be mindful of, obviously with the new COVID protocols and everything, how that can affect, fantasy matchups going into this week. In regards to week 18 and how we kind of approach it, right? Like it's going to be information based, really, right? Like luckily, a lot of these teams have something to play for, and that's really what you want to target is those teams that have something to play for. The teams like Tampa Bay, and there's one more that that's escaping me right now that doesn't have anything to play for. They say that they're not resting anybody, that they're going to play everybody. Those teams are the ones that scare me. Even though they say that they're going to play everybody, you never know what could happen during the game.
Facts.
Anything can happen. Like one guy gets hurt and they can be like, well, that's it. We're taking everybody out, right? So and these things can happen. So a lot of target these teams, especially if you're playing DFS, if you're trying to play DFS in week 18, target these teams that have something to play for. So we also got some Saturday football here ahead of us there. So that's going to be good there too. So we will be here on Thursday to break it down. We'll break down the Saturday games. Maybe we'll break down the 1:00 games too as well. We'll see how it goes from scheduling. But Greg, let's talk about some waivers here, and let's start with the quarterback position. Any quarterbacks that you specifically want to target this week in Week 18 championship?
There's only really two. These two teams have something to really play for. Taysom Hill going against Atlanta, and Carson Wentz was a Jag as well. I mean, we did. I think he did a little better against Vegas, but he's got Jacksonville this week. One or two things could happen. JT could go for like 800 yards, or Jacksonville or Carson Wentz does get some yardage here passing wise. But I think I would really only target Taysom Hill first, and then if not, if you're in trouble, desperation get Carson Wentz going against Jacksonville. If you haven't got Trey Lance. I
was gonna say Trey Lance would probably be. He would probably be my top go-to target there.
Yeah. But like his percentage would have shot it up after when he got start news.
Yeah, for sure. So does Indianapolis have anything to play for this week?
I think they could still get in there. Were they eliminated?
I don't think so. The AFC seems way too tight for.
Yeah, for sure.
For them to be eliminated.
So yeah, I think they have to be Jacksonville. Trey Lance is 32% roster, so go get Trey Lance for sure.
Trey Lance. Yeah, Trey Lance has got to be the top guy. Let me see. I'm just trying to find out if they can be.
I think they'll probably maybe need some help, but.
Yeah, I think they still have a chance. They're probably going to need some help, but they have a chance against Jacksonville. Maybe they just run the ball down.
Yeah,
Jacksonville's throat. But either way, Carson Wentz is in a good spot. So if you need help, definitely go out target him. Greg, what about the running back position? Who can we target at there?
3 names. Boston Scott for one. Definitely got to put in the ad, the waiver pickup to get him. Again, we never know what's going to happen with the COVID situation, but that situation has just been fluctuating all year, so you can't assume anything. Just make the ad. Secondly, Dare Gumbawale. Again, he's going to continue to get the bulk of the carries in this offense without James Robinson. He's going to get volume just like Boston Scott is with the Eagles. If he's going to be the starter, both going to get 15 to 20 touches, so continue to play them, add them and play them. And then Keyshawn Vaughn. I mentioned his name last week just because it's injury season, it's COVID season. Next thing you know, Ronald Jones gets hurt in the second quarter, so Keyshawn Vaughn is the next man up. So I think he's probably third on my list to add, as he could probably be the starter this week. West Tampa Bay is one of those teams that doesn't have anything to play for, but Keyshawn Vaughn is low on the depth chart already, so he's going to probably start.
Keyshawn Vaughn also is a guy, though. I think isn't he dealing with an injury too?
I don't think
he's dealing with dealing with a rib injury. Because it might be crazy, but we could have a Le'Veon Bell week.
You're right. I did see Le'Veon Bell towards the end of that game.
Week 18,
week 18, Le'Veon Bell special.
Keyshawn Vaughn dealing with bruised ribs, and plus, if you really think about it, right, like Le'Veon Bell just signed there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right. So he hasn't. Outside of his time with Baltimore, he hasn't really got much work. They want to get him work on the offense. Like, you really want him
for the playoffs. That's true,
right? They want to get him ready for the playoffs.
Le'Veon Bell, the playoffs, that's gonna be crazy.
It might happen. So I would look for Le'Veon Bell potentially as well with Keyshawn Vaughn dealing with bruised ribs, and I have confirmed that the Indianapolis Colts are in the playoff run. They are actually currently the 6th seed in the AFC.
Okay. So kind of control their own destiny.
They kind of control their own destiny. If they win, They will make the playoffs here. It's so weird to see teams like 9-7, 9-7, and like not be in. So yeah, I think the teams that are on the bubble, like so the Ravens could technically still make it, but they would need some help. Like I'm assuming like the Colts losing, and then obviously the Raiders beating the Chargers. The Raiders and Chargers are pretty much in a win in a scenario.
Yeah,
like,
it's a three-way tie between. Oh well, the Colts have the tiebreaker. Okay, so it's Raiders Chargers tied up. Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be a really good game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I gotta make that. Right?
And then the Saints, who I think you mentioned before, they actually can still make it as well.
Yeah, the Saints still make it. I knew that. Yeah, because they got that Tampa win, which was huge. And they got.
Hold on, can the Saints make it?
I feel like I thought the Saints.
How can they? Because the Eagles have already clinched the playoffs. No, I don't think they can.
Oh, okay.
I think the
they're
NFC locked
up.
up.
Yeah. All right. Word. I mean, well, they want to see what Taysom Hill's about, so I'm sure they still want to know what Taysom Hill is if he's the quarterback of the future.
Yeah. And the Niners can't make it either. Then I'm assuming.
No, the Niners definitely can make it.
The Niners can make it? How? I thought the Eagles clinched the playoff spot.
But they're also 9-7.
Yeah.
Nah, the Niners definitely can make it. I know that.
No, but the Eagles clinched the playoff spot. Yeah, no.
No, the Niners are in the 6th spot right now.
Yo, what am I? Oh, sorry. The Niners are in the 6th spot, but they haven't clinched.
No, they just got to win.
They win and they're in.
They
and if the Saints win, okay, this thing was confusing me because I guess Philly's locked into the 7th.
Yeah, because they won the division.
Philly didn't win the division. Dallas did.
Oh, Dallas did. Oh, dang. So I don't. Yeah.
So Philly's locked into the 7th spot. They must have a tiebreaker over those two teams.
Yes, a lot.
So, or over one of those teams. Well, they're basically locked into a 7th spot, and if the Niners win, they're in. If the Niners lose, and
the Saints
win, then they're in.
Yep.
The Saints are in. Okay, got it. So pretty much, a lot of teams still with a shot to make it here. Even the Pittsburgh Steelers, who play tonight on Monday Night Football, have a shot to make it. So we'll see. The Browns potentially play spoiler here. But Greg, what about the wide receiver position? Who we targeting there?
Definitely one that playing, looking at Raiders players, Zay Jones. I think I would probably spend money on him. The fact that he got 11 targets, again, got to expect Darren Waller to be out for probably the rest of the season right now at this point. He's going to be leading that team with the deep down the field targets. We know that Hunter Renfrow is a short and intermediate guy, but we need someone to stretch the field. And Derek Carr, being top 5 in yards, is going to need a field stretcher. So Zay Jones is a guy you should go get. It's probably going to get high volume for you. Braxton Berrios is second for me. Continue to just be the receiver to have on his team to roster down the stretch for the Jets. He should continue to play well. He can do it in return yardage. It doesn't matter. Intermediate, short. He's just a gadget guy for this team. And then last, Cyril Grayson. I mean, he's going to be the next guy up for Tampa. It's probably the deep league guy. No AB. Brashad Perriman. I think Grayson has a little talent, so he's going to be probably a person you can add in deeper leagues as well.
Yo, my man Braxton getting so much slight, man. He should be the number 1 guy on this list.
Yo, Zay Jones got 11 targets, yo. I like that.
Hunter Renfrow, like Braxton Berrios is basically like the Hunter Renfrow in this offense, right?
True, you're right.
Not for reasons why listeners might think. I don't want anybody to think.
I know. Yeah, definitely.
Bias here or anything like this.
But yo, 11 targets, catching it from also.
Braxton had 12.
Catching from Derek Carr, yo, top 5 yard getter, yo. It's a top 5.
I'll give you that.
12% to 95,
I mean, we got a 30% target share versus, I don't even know what 11 targets
was.
That's
the consistency is close. I mean, I would take both. I'm gonna add both on my team.
But Berrios every week for the last 4 weeks. Zay Jones just got here, bro. He just joined the party. Braxton's been in the club.
That's what Laquan Trevorrow too. I throw him out there as another DP guy. Yeah.
What about tight end? What we got there?
No one, man. There's no really different tight end. I mean, they'll be the same suspects, Brevin Jordan, but there's really no one at tight end that could
Did
save
Ricky
you at this point.
Seals-Jones suffer an injury?
I think so. Yes, you are right. But I mean,
Did John Bates also suffer an injury?
do you want to trust that?
No, he's not playing
17?
Philly. We're done. I'm done. We're good. End of conversation. We're good. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, I don't really
No.
see anyone here. And Brevin Jordan didn't even play well, so like, it's tough. It's really tough at tight end. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's definitely been tough. All right, y'all. Well, that is all we got today. So make sure you come back Thursday for some more content as we will continue to break down Week 18. We will obviously Thursday be giving out streams of the week. We'll be breaking down Saturday football games, possibly even some of the Sunday 1 p.m. games as well. And then obviously catch us back here on Saturday to catch the rest of the breakdowns for the remaining games. After that, we're going to have 2 episodes. So pretty much only got 4 episodes left for the year, left for the rest of the season. But we, gonna have the hits and misses episode. Obviously, the misses will do first, and the hits will do last. But again, if you're done playing, we encourage you to come back, continue to listen to the content, because like we said, you don't want to miss out on some of this stuff. Plus, who doesn't want to hang out with us for like 40 minutes to an hour? So, again, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate the support all year. If you are done, if you are going to check out, but we definitely appreciate the support all season long. And until next time, y'all, have a good one. We're out of here. Peace.
We are.